There is a common assumption when we imagine pitting modern weapons against ancient armies. We tend to think taking advanced firepower back in time, the sheer shock of the technology guarantees a victory. The ancient soldiers will simply drop their weapons, panic, and run away. But let's test that assumption. In 1219 AD, on the flat, dry grasslands of the Central Asian steppe, Genghis Khan has just arrived with 100,000 mounted soldiers, preparing to erase the Khwarezmian Empire from the map. Today, however, there is an anomaly. Orbiting 7,000 feet above the Mongol cavalry is a single U.S. Air Force AC-130J Ghost Rider gunship. It is quietly watching the army through sensors that can identify individual human beings from miles away. The Ghost Rider opens fire. Deafening detonations fall from a clear sky with no visible source, instantly erasing riders near the impact zones. For the Mongols, the devastation is immediate and invisible. This is the exact moment we expect the ancient army to break and run, but they don't. These are men who survived deadly winters and crossed deserts as children. Genghis Khan has built the most highly disciplined military organization of the medieval world. Instead of panicking, the Mongols fall back on their training, and this terrifying ambush turns into a raw, tactical problem-solving exercise. For the first hour, the aircraft dominates the engagement. The AC-130 uses its advanced sensors to lock onto tightly packed groups of cavalry, and its 30mm autocannon rains down explosive shrapnel. A standard Mongol shield is designed to block arrows from the front, offering zero protection against metal fragmentation falling directly from overhead. The Mongol response is automatic. Their tactical doctrine dictates that when facing an overwhelming, unexpected threat, you disperse. In minutes, the massive, tight marching column shatters into dozens of tiny, scattered clusters, all moving rapidly in different directions to minimize casualties from high explosive blasts. 3 kilometers away on a ridgeline, entirely removed from the blast zones, Genghis Khan is watching the destruction unfold. Through his scout relay system, Khan catalogs 3 specific behaviors. The weapon fires only from the left side. It hits dense clusters more often than individuals, and the aircraft adjusts its orbit when the smoke from the initial explosions drifts between the plane and the ground. Genghis Khan is applying observation and pattern recognition to a technology 800 years in his future. He is dismantling the tactical advantage of a godlike threat by analyzing its behavior under specific environmental conditions. Utilizing a hunting tactic he has known since childhood, Genghis Khan issues a new order: set the dry summer grass on fire. Riders ignite the dead vegetation, and soon a continuous, chaotic chain of massive steppe fires expands across kilometers of the battlefield. This ground-level action directly attacks the aircraft's central nervous system. The AC-130's primary tracking tools rely on infrared targeting, which requires a distinct temperature difference between the heat of a living human body and the cooler earth below. This image shows a distinct, bright thermal human silhouette standing out against a cooler background. But rising heat and thick smoke from the fires wreck that contrast. The shifting patchwork of burning brush makes individual thermal signatures blur and vanish. This forces a mechanical breakdown in the sky. To find a clear targeting window through the heavy haze, the pilots have to constantly climb and reposition the aircraft. Every adjustment costs them accuracy, and more importantly, it causes them to burn through their fuel reserves at a drastically accelerated rate. By flooding the zone with heat and smoke, Genghis Khan successfully blinds the most sophisticated targeting array on Earth. With a 13th century mastery of dirt, grass, and fire, he proves that extreme technological supremacy can be neutralized by manipulating the physical environment. Having degraded the gunship's accuracy, Genghis Khan makes his final strategic pivot. He shifts his focus from fighting the machine to outlasting it, recognizing that any weapon must eventually reach its limit. He orders a full strategic dispersal. The remaining Mongol army breaks apart into 100 independent groups of 1,000 riders, scattering in entirely different directions across the steppe. Up in the cockpit, the crew is trapped by a brutal reality. They are staring at rapidly dropping ammunition reserves, a quickly depleting fuel gauge, and targets that are far too scattered to justify the expenditure of heavy artillery. This chart shows the math of that dilemma.
The rapidly dropping red line represents the AC-130's finite fuel and ammunition. It inevitably intersects with the massive, steady blue baseline representing the over 95,000 Mongol soldiers who are still riding. At hour 9, the fuel gauge makes the final decision. Without any air bases existing in 1219 AD, the AC-130 must touch down on the flat dirt of the steppe. Within an hour, the silent, grounded aircraft is surrounded by 5,000 fresh Mongol cavalrymen. Modern air superiority can inflict massive casualties on an ancient army, but a machine is only as invincible as its logistical tether. An adaptable, highly trained enemy doesn't need to physically destroy a superior weapon. They only need to survive until gravity and math do the work for them.